Hello, it's Crafty Carol here with yet another little video for you, and this time we're going to make a box. And this is quite a big box. It's 6 by 6 by 3, so it's quite a big box. So we're going to start off with a piece of cardstock which is 12 by 12, so we don't need any cutting. This is just how it comes out of the pack. And we also want a piece of DSP, a contrasting piece or a matching piece. This is a retired DSP. I think it was during Celebration we got this. It does actually match if you prefer it, but I thought I'd have the gold on the outside because it's rather nice. So this is a really simple box to make, but I want to show you and focus on how we actually do the lid to make sure that it fits properly. So let's start off. I hope this is all in. Difficult to get the whole thing in shot, but we'll try. So this is my scoreboard. You can use your trimmer if you prefer, but very simply we're going to start off, and on this the base piece of card we're simply going to score at 3 and at 9, or 3 inches all the way around if you prefer to do it that way, or 3 and 9 on 2 sides. It doesn't matter, you can do whichever way suits, but we basically want 3 inches from each side, so 3 and 9, doing it this way. So that is the base of the box, really simple. So while we're here scoring, we're going to score the DSP now. So this piece for the lid is 9 inches square. So obviously we're not going to score it at 3 from each side because that would be far too small a lid. So for this we need to score it at 1.5 inches each side. But we're going to do each side at a time, and we're going to pull it away just a fraction. I hope you can see that. Just a fraction. It's half a mark away from the side before we score it at 1.5. And the reason for that is it'll just make the lid just a tad bigger than the box, so it'll fit better. So rather than jutting it right up, just pull it away a little tad, just a tiny little bit, half one of these marks, and then score at 1.5. So we're turning it and doing it on the same side each time. Pull it away from the side, just half a mark, and then it's 1.5 inches to score. And remember, this is DSP, so we don't need to score it too hard. So jut it to the side, pull it away a fraction, and then score at 1.5. Okay, so I hope that's clear, and you'll see how that just makes the lid fit snugly, but not too tightly. And then, as with any box, find some scissors, we're going to cut. And on the outside one, the tab, we are going to just miter it a little bit. So we're going to take like a small triangle out. That's what I mean by miter. So we have a small triangle there, and try and make that a straight cut. That would be good as well. And then we're going to miter this side as well. So we're just taking a little tiny corner off that side as well. Now, if you want, and it can make the box better, even more secure, we can do it on the same way on each corner. So if we turn it, and all that does is when we're actually sticking the box together, it just means there's a tab on each side, so it strengthens it a bit. So same as before, we're going to cut down this outside score line, put the first score line in, and then take away just a small little triangle from each side. There we go. Turn it again, do the same thing. So we're doing the same thing on all 4 corners. Okay, so that is the first box. Now we can fold and score all of the score lines. So I'm going to fold them inwards, and I'm going to just leave that out of the way for a minute. I'm going to burnish each one. So fold inwards and burnish, fold inwards and burnish, fold inwards and burnish. And then we're just going to fold each of the flaps in. I'm just going to use my fingers to burnish these. I'm going to stick these down anyway. There we go. So that is what it should vaguely look like if you finish the base correctly. Now you could use liquid glue to stick it, or you can use tape, and I think I'm going to use some tear and tape on this. I've actually got a wide bit of tear and tape, so that will do. I'm going to put some, and obviously I'm sticking this on the outside of each flap, because if I stick it on the inside, then my flap will be on the outside of the box, because I want the flaps on the inside of the box, so I'm sticking the tape to the outside. I'll go mad and have 3 bits, why not? So take those off. Now the key to any box is getting the corners lined up. So when I'm sticking this tab down, I'm going to keep it pointing inwards, line my corner up, and then turn and press the tab out. So that gives me an exact corner. Okay, so I'm going to repeat that on all of the remaining sides, and I probably should have put all of the tape on first. It's going to be awkward on that one, but never mind. I'm going to just rush the film through, because I'm going to do exactly the same on all of these sides. So my final corner is a little bit more awkward, so I fold the tab, you see that, into the box to take off my backing. But as before, make sure that my corner lines up, and then push my tab outwards to stick down. And there we have the box. So now we need to move on to the lid. So you can see it's a really good sized box, this. It's a really solid box. And putting a tab on each side just strengthens all of the sides. If we'd done the tabs the same, so that 2 go on each side, we'd have 2 strong sides and 2 very floppy sides. So that, for a bigger box, I find that's the best way to do it, with the tab going the same way each time. So we're going to do the same thing on the lid, but we're going to have the tabs going the opposite way. So we don't have tab above tab when we put the thing together. I hope that makes sense. So this time we're going to come to this corner and do what we did last time, which is cut up to the first score line and take out a couple of small triangles. So we're going on the we did it on this side, coming around the box, so we're doing it on this side on the lid. So turn again, come in from the edge, 2 small triangles, that wasn't very good, do that one again, there, same on this side, follow the score line in, 2 small triangles, and the final one. And there we have it. Get rid of the debris. So exactly the same as before. I'm going to turn it over, I'm going to fold, and just with my fingers I'm going to burnish the score lines, because if I don't want to go too hard. This is DSP, not cardstock, so just be gentle with it. Although it's a really quite strong DSP, you still need to be gentle. So again, fold each of the tabs inwards, and we do exactly the same as before. I'm going to use tear and tape again, just along each of the tabs, just a small piece on each tab. And this time I'm going to be sensible and put it on all the tabs before I start putting them together. But exactly the same principle. Put the tape on, take it off, have the tab folded well in, and then hold the corner together and push the tab out against the side to stick it. It doesn't matter which corner you start on, you're going to do all 4, so it doesn't matter. But the same as before, hold the corner together, hope you can see that, and then push the tab out. And that gives you this nice, neat corner. So we do that again on all of the corners. And then my final corner, making sure it's exactly lined up. There we go. That's my box lid finished. Ooh, bits of that everywhere. I'll have to tidy that up in a minute. So there is the box lid all stuck together. Don't have to wait for glue to dry because I haven't used Tombow. Now the moment of truth. It should fit on as it does, beautifully. Nice and solidly. It's not going to shake off easily. There we go. but nicely fitting on. And that is my box with a lid. So I hope you've enjoyed that. For decorating this, because I've used the gold box here, I thought you could use red on the top to match the base. I think that would look a little odd. So I'm actually going to use, bring this all in, I'm going to use the Irresistible Bloom set, this lovely set here, because I love these flowers. And we can do the leaves as well. But I'm just going to do the flowers, I think. I'm going to add a thank you, but I'm going to emboss them. So quick reminder for the embossing, is important that you use the embossing buddy just to take off any grease so that we don't get embossing powder sticking where we don't want it. And then it's important to use Versamark ink for these. So pick that up and stamp that there. And I'm going to use the other flower and get it on the other end of this because I'm being stingy. So put that on there. And the thank you I'm going to use on this. I'm doing them all together. You could obviously take your time and just do one at a time, but I'm doing them all together just to not to take too much time on this video. So then I'm getting my gold embossing powder, trying not to get it everywhere. And we shall cover each of these, pick up plenty, in the embossing powder. There are my flowers and my thank you. Just tap that to get any, whoa, you put that all over the desk. I usually do get embossing powder everywhere, so try not to. That's why I keep them in the in those Chinese containers. But there we have the embossed flowers. That one does have a bit of extra, flick that off into the bin, extra embossing powder on it, which I didn't want on the desk. And then we're going to use the heat gun just to heat that up. Now I like to just make sure it's nice and hot before I start. It doesn't take long, just a few seconds. And then we have the magic. I hope you can see the magic happening. There we go. So there's my thank you. I do the flowers the same. And as I pick that up, as you can see, I've just knocked off some of the embossing powder from that flower. So I'm just going to add a bit more. There should be still stickiness in the Versamark ink for that. So I'll just put the bit back on that came off. There we go, that's better. Now I can hold it this end because this end's already been heat embossed. So close that again before I get the heat gun out. And I'll do the second flower. There. So all that remains is for me to go and cut these out. I'm going to use, there isn't a decent, oops, oh my, all of these are falling out. I have got dies for the two flowers. I haven't for that bloom, but I do have another die that I can use for that. So I shall go and do that and be back in just a second. Okay, so here we are with our die cut pieces, and I was thinking I might actually, yeah, I think I'm just going to stick them on as they are. So I am going to use dimensionals. My dimensionals need to get a new set out very soon, but I can always use the edges, always use all the bits of the dimensional. And then you can see, oh, I'd used that already, look. I didn't realise I'd got these same flowers stamped on the back of here. There we go. goes to show it was just the next bit of the next bit of scrap card that I had. Okay, so here's my thank you. That's going to go in the middle of my box like that, and then my 2 flowers on each side. One up there, and the other one down here. And there is my box. And you can add any other embellishments if you want, but I think there's enough gold on there just to make it look rather beautiful, and that hopefully will contain a beautiful gift for somebody. So that is how to make a box, and that is how to cut the lid so that it, or to score the lid so that it fits beautifully on your box. I hope you enjoyed that. All the instructions are in my blog on craftycarolscards.co.uk, and please subscribe to this channel if you haven't already. Thank you for joining me today, and I hope to see you again soon. Bye for now.